Hey everybody, it's Jeremy Bradley here, and it's time for the BuffRadio.com Entertainment Wrap-Up presented by Buff Boy Brewing Company.
JB's Entertainment Wrap-Up.
Brought to you by BuffBoyBrewing.com. For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you'll surely feel naughty when you swallow their coffee. Shop Buff Boy Brewing's premium collections of coffee and tea at BuffBoyBrewing.com. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough buff. Here's what's making news this July 7th. It was not a fairy tale for everyone, and it was only a matter of time before we got the real tea about the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce wedding last week. We've talked about how there was a castle, and it was Alice in Wonderland meets the Wizard of Oz. There were carnival games and prizes like a 4-year-old's birthday, but for all the planning, we cannot really say the bride and groom had their guests' comfort in mind. You know, the 1,000 or so of them in attendance. You've heard all about the non-disclosure agreement that came along with the wedding invitations. Guests were essentially sworn to secrecy, and in many cases were not given the full details until almost the last minute. We also talked about the no phone or camera rule, which for the most part people were cool with in theory, but then in reality, people can't be separated from their trusty devices all night. And security screened people before letting them in. It's being reported guests were searched like they were going to the airport, checked for hidden recording devices, including anyone who might be wearing Meta smart glasses to covertly record the scene. Yes, witnesses said they wouldn't let you wear your glasses. How strictly was it enforced? TMZ said security went through with scanners to check for the glasses or other recording devices. We also talked about the police hired to work the event who were not allowed to have their phones on them that night, nor were the workers and crew who spent days setting up. How else did they make their guests uncomfortable? The setup, the food. Remember, we talked about the menu items being spotted loaded into the arena last week. It sounds like buffet style is not the way to go when it comes to, again, 1,000 people. Insiders told us there was no sit-down service for dinner. You served yourself. Well, you went down the cafeteria line for scoops of food to be plopped on your plate. The lineups were long, causing people to get pissed off, and then they didn't even have a place to sit for many of them after waiting in line all that time on your feet. And let me back up and tell you, this is Madison Square Garden, one of the largest indoor arenas in the country. And there was not a setup for 1,000 people to eat a meal, according to sources. Crazy lineup, standing to eat. Someone told TMZ, quote, "It was a bit of a bleep show." Knew it was only a matter of time before we got the real story, right? I mean, I realize your wedding day is about you, but sorry, when you're going this elaborate and over-the-top carnival games for your guests, you should at least have thought about where they're going to sit to eat a meal. How was that not factored in? And Swift has the money. By the way, she has the money and the power that she could have said, get another space set up with tables and chairs now. Anyway, speaking of castles, we've talked about all the drama for the Harry, formerly known as Prince. He's attempting to make nice with the royal family, but it sounds like his proposed visit to the United Kingdom is even more dramatic than we initially thought. We've talked about Harry and Meghan Markle's insistence on having taxpayer-funded security while in the UK, but they've had nothing but trouble trying to get their demands met. Then we heard that Markle wouldn't even go after all because, they hate her. And now it sounds like Harry's invite to stay at Buckingham Palace was pulled. Harry's rep said, "I am aware of multiple briefings from Buckingham Palace last week suggesting that the Duke had not accepted the offer of accommodation at a royal residence following RAVEC's decision." RAVEC is a Royal and VIP Executive Committee, the government-appointed committee responsible for determining the security arrangements. The quote continues, their decision not to provide security for his family. The Duke spent last week making alternate security arrangements. Once those arrangements were in place, he was able to formally accept the offer of accommodation for himself over the weekend. It is therefore unclear why, having formally accepted the accommodation offer, it has now been withdrawn at the last minute. BBC reports that Harry's team didn't confirm whether he would accept the invite or formally decline the invitation on Saturday. The palace later said that Harry's team changed their mind and accepted the offer to stay, but it was too late. You snooze, you lose, bucko. That's check of your celeb headlines for this Tuesday, July 7th. I'm back tomorrow on the BuffRadio.com Entertainment Wrap-Up presented by Buff Boy Brewing Company. Till next time, I'm Jeremy Bradley.
For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel